because they'll be in the air and moving quickly, but they're just being attended to is Lu Qingxi.
Pretty powerful, those leaf blowers as well. They do give a huge amount of air movement, and they are very, very welcome, particularly in a touring car where the air just isn't moving. It's still, it's hot, and the leaf blowers just get things moving around inside the car, which is very welcome in a day like today.
Well, 3 minutes before the drivers hit the track, and then hopefully this will be a trouble-free session, because we've had enough dramas, I think, for one day, haven't we?
Yes, we have, and at the conclusion of this, we will still have 3 more to go with the SJM Macau Road Sport Challenge. They kick things off for four-wheeled activity today. The GT cars, the GT4 and GTC cars, have their second qualifying and the final session of the day, as yesterday for the Galaxy Entertainment Macau GT Cup. Right, I think we are getting very close to 25 minutes of qualifying 2 for the Sands China Formula 4 Macau Grand Prix. Timing screen has cleared itself in preparation for the cars leaving pit lane.
Slightly confusingly, the timing screen has also now just offered the legend checkered flag and GT Cup qualifying 2. So I think the system's had a minor glitch.
Oh, it's a bit warm today.
Yes, that'll be it. That'll be it. Yes.
It's a bit warm.
But I think the Formula 4 cars are still expected. So
yes, they
will be on track in about 2 minutes' time. And then we'll see, as I say, whether or not Andy Chang onto that pole position, driver that we've seen race Formula 3 in Europe.
It's been a great three-way battle this so far today, hasn't it?
Absolutely right. And it's set to continue between Andy Chang, Charles Leung and Gerard Shea.
Will that upset Charles Leung's flow for the weekend or not? Yeah.
Bound to. The accident at the Melgo hairpin, because suddenly he knows he's vulnerable. He's made a mistake. And not only that, but he's also seen the pace that's come out of Andy Chang, who went a second and a half quicker. Being fast is one thing, but by such a margin will also make Charles Leung think a little bit. So, yeah, he's going to have to dig deep here, and we'll see how strong he is mentally as he tries to fight back going into this second session.
Just going to have a look at what the pole time was from last year for the Formula 4 cars. Might be interesting. Are you going to find it before I do? Now we've become competitive in the commentary box as well. I think I'll get there before you do.
Okay.
2:29.881 for Charles Leung, 2:29.881, and this morning Andy Chang a 2:27.6.
Big difference then. A lot of time they have gained over the winter. Right, green light on. We are back in business then as the Sands China Formula 4 Macau Grand Prix cars blast out of the pit lane. And so once more the circuit is live, and it's going to be a busy racetrack, that's for sure.
Now the gear circuit fills up with single-seaters weaving from side to side on the widest part of the circuit in order to get heat into the tyres nice and quickly. If they've been watching what goes on today, they come out of turn 1 and down towards Mandarin and Lisboa, then they will know just how important it has been to get the lap in early in a session. We've had multiple stoppages today. That eats into the time. Although the countdown clock stops, it eats into the time that you've got to set a qualifying lap, because you've got to come into the pit lane, you've then got to go back out onto the circuit, get the car back up to temperature again, and that's what rather hinders the progress of a qualifying session.
Absolutely so. So out they all pour. The one that we lost very early in the weekend was Bei Su Ling, who had a big accident coming out of Mandarin, and so that car we aren't going to see again. So much damage was done to it. So it means that there are 16 cars for the Sands China Formula 4 Macau Grand Prix, and they wriggle their way out of the S's. And we keep talking about it, but although you need clear track space, it's surprising that the teams always seem to allow the cars out in a long line rather than hanging on to a car. We talk about this in qualifying sessions in the UK or elsewhere, for example, and there's normally one team that hangs on to its car until about half a lap, 2/3 of a lap has been completed, and then release it. And yet here, there always seems to be that determination that we've got to get out on track, got to maximise the time available, but you then end up in traffic.
Yeah, on a circuit which gets extremely narrow, and if you get behind slower traffic on the tight top section into, well, from San Francisco Hill onwards, really, up to the Macau hairpin, it can be quite tricky, and certainly it would compromise a qualifying lap. That is the Macau hairpin.
Well, you can't overtake, as Alan's been explaining during the course of the weekend, because it's just so narrow, it would cause a blockage. It's wide on the way in, which therefore deceives you, but it's a very, very narrow exit to the hairpin. So down they come towards the end of this outlap, and you see how much time this has eaten into.
So, number 3, that's the car of Gerard Chi.
Come out a question which I wasn't really paying attention to.
You can.
Did the clock start at 20 minutes? Because I can't believe that we've lost 5 minutes with an outlap.
I think that might have started at 20 minutes, yeah. It's a really good question, the answer to which I don't know for sure, but the suggestion there is that this is, although it's Q2, is that it's 5 minutes shorter than the scheduled 25 minutes.
Which therefore just takes a lap, maybe 2 off the plan that the drivers had, and now we're on to a flying lap. So this is when things start to get really interesting. As you can see there, number 56 on a big push, which is Chen Xiefang trying to work his way through traffic, which he does, but Patrick Sang in the red car doesn't like being overtaken and tries to fight back, but eventually as they get down towards Lisboa, so Ching, he's able to get through and consolidate track position.
It's like a race this, 3 of them all competing for track position as they now climb San Francisco Hill out of the right-hander and head up towards Maternity.
Patrick Sang, though, not being very cooperative, is he? He's got a quick car behind, but as you say, it is like a race. He's almost weaving around to block.
It's exactly like a race, yeah. And you're right, it is 20 minutes because I did the mathematics from when we started, which was at the top of the hour, and the result, so we're now at 4 minutes and 30 seconds past 3, and we are some 5 minutes into the session. It would have started at 20 minutes.
Right. Thank you,
Makes it a bit more urgent, doesn't it?
It does, and if you are the driver here stuck in the traffic trying to wriggle through, which I think is Li Si Chang, then life is not easy, because Patrick Sang is not looking as though he's going to be overly cooperative and get out of the way, is he?
No way through at Police. We have seen some manoeuvres through there, and then through Moorish Hill.
Into Donna Maria now. See the amount of rubber that's been put down. That was a very different look to the tarmac when we started yesterday, but a lot of rubber put down to the Macau hairpin, and still unable to get through. Li Si Chang getting more and more frustrated, then 3rd in the Grand Prix last year, and accelerates out of the hairpin, crawling all over the back of Patrick Sang's car, but he's going to have to be really bold, I think, in order to strike and try and move through. Down the hill they drop, heading towards Fisherman's.
Part of the skills of the Macau Grand Prix weekend is to not get frustrated, because frustrations are sort of built into the race weekend. And inevitably you are going to get caught up. They go side by side. It is like a race.
Patrick Sang doesn't need to be doing this. I know he doesn't want to get caught in traffic, but demonstrably quicker is Li Si Chang, and eventually he's able to go through. But the way that Patrick Sang was blocking, I think he might have a case to answer there.
So finally the car gets through the 27 car of Li Si Chang, and qualifying has only 13 and left to run.
We've got Charles Leung as the fastest, incidentally.
One flying lap.
Yeah, 2:38.188. What was last year's pole time?
Hang on. A 2:29.881.
Right, okay, so that's the benchmark, as Charles Leung, he has got himself clear track space in his blackjack entry. Comes now through the Solitude S's. The car repaired after its dramas in the first session. So he's gone ahead of me. He's done a 2:38.415. And then third fastest now is Qin Zhefang, fourth in the event last year. He's done a 2:38.875 with Royce Yu in number 82, the former kart racer, fourth quickest. So Charles, big drama there, and a very badly damaged car as well that's going to stop the session. Henry Lee Jr., he's taken the rear suspension off, there's debris all over the road, and he's okay, wriggling clear of the car. Looks around to see if anybody else is involved in that, but with debris on the road, it's going to have to be attended to. Henry Lee Jr., who was all smiles before the session, gets out of the car and runs for a place of safety, but the car up against the wall, and you can see where it's punched an element of the barrier back. He came out of Mandarin too wide, lost the back, hit the wall there, so he's already got broken suspension as the car spins, and then hits the barrier again and again and again, and ends up on the racetrack. So there's a double waved yellow, but they are trying to get through this without a stoppage.
There's quite a bit of hardware on the circuit there, isn't it? Strewn across the track at the widest point of the circuit. Mandarin so quick, and if you do touch the barrier, the energy absorption and therefore the amount, you really are a passenger, aren't you? It's a question of whereabouts you come to a stop, really.
So car stopped at Marshall's Post 2, debris on track is the official line. And okay, if it can be moved without a red flag, race control will be very pleased. But it's putting the marshals on their toes to get the debris. And there is the yellow flag zone. So nobody can go quicker anyway.
So there is a clear part of the circuit, isn't there, for debris on the left-hand side?
Yeah.
2 lanes of a carriageway, essentially, is clear.
And confirmation, just going back a session, that the gear race, having lost Q2, the grid for race 1 will be decided by Q1 results. The grid for race 2 will be decided by race 1 results. So it's going to be slightly different from the original regulations that the stewards have approved it. So the session continues, and that's good news. I was absolutely convinced there was going to be a red flag with the car lying on the road, but that's hopefully going to be craned out of the way. And it is now Andy Chang who's gone to the top, 2 minutes 30.796.
Fortunately, it's the wide part of the circuit, so the debris in the car were restricted to one side of the circuit, so essentially cars can get through there without the necessity for a red flag. And we are down some meaningful times now. 2:30.796 for Andy Chang. Car number 8, the all-red machine, the Champ Motorsport, entered Macau through police. Moorish Hill. The time this morning was 2:27.6, and we are on 2:37.
So one thing for Andy Chang, what he seems to be very good at today is finding himself clear track space, reading where people are around the racetrack.
Turning through Macau hairpin, clear track in front, and heading down towards the final elements of the gear circuit.
The sector times are slower, however, but I suppose with that yellow flag zone, the time is inevitable. It's going to be down, but he wants to stay out there, keep circulating. We're into part 2 of the session anyway now, aren't we? Into the second half, as it were.
Pressing on as well to set up for a quick lap this time, we reckon, towards the line. Conclusion of lap number 4 on circuit.
And an absolute best final sector. So carrying on that momentum down now towards the approach to Mandarin. There's 27, which is Li Si Cheng, up to second fastest now. So it's Andy Chang, Li Si Cheng, Gerard Shi, and Charles Leung, only 4th fastest, which is a real surprise. Now,
and into the pits.
Yeah, the time that Charles Leung did in Q1 was a 2:29.5. He's down a 2:33.5 now, so he's having to rely on his race 1 time. That's the stricken car. I'm still surprised that's there, frankly.
together with all of the hardware which was distributed across the track, bouncing from one side of the circuit to the other. But we have 7 minutes and 50 seconds of this Q2 qualifying session for the Sands China Formula 4 Macau Grand Prix remaining, and it's Andy Chang. In fact, today has been all about Andy Chang. Top the times for Q1.
And another yellow flag heading through the S's, so somebody else is in strife, presumably up the road.
Couldn't see anything there.
No, I think it's still to come, isn't it?
Yet to come.
There's a yellow light flashing on the right-hand side, look through the fence. We don't see it. Charles Leung is getting ready to go. But yes, there's another yellow out somewhere on the circuit.
Charles Leung about to go out.
Not ideal for anybody because times are affected. And it's a yellow flag at all marshals posts. Now maybe this is the equivalent of a full course yellow, so they can quickly get that car out of the way.
Or at least the debris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't think the regulations enable such a thing as a full course yellow safety car, but this is the nearest we can do.
Yeah, and they're used to it because they lost free practice 1 yesterday. They were under a inverted commas full course yellow when they left pit lane to ensure that there were no problems and they could get some running underway, and they're doing it again now. Looking at the 27 car of these Blackjack Macau. So no overtaking all the way around the circuit. Heading into the area where throughout the course of the weekend there is no overtaking. The Macau hairpin, wide entry, tight exit. Keep it nimble and tight on the exit. Get a good run down the hill.
And the team's being told to tell their drivers that there are marshals on the track at turn 2 at Mandarin. So yes, as I was suggesting, it is the equivalent of now a full course yellow virtual safety car period.
But the remaining time, under 6 minutes now remain, and Charles Leung is out of pit lane, so back on track. It's leaving it fine, isn't it, for Charles Leung? Currently 4th, 2:33.526.
But his Q1 time was better, wasn't it?
It was 2:29.543.
Right, debris out of the way. So look, green flags wave. So everybody back on the money now to have, what, 2 flying laps before the end of the session. And fair play to the marshals, then, because given the opportunity to get onto the circuit, they've moved the car, they have moved the debris.
Amazing.
Yeah,
really
that.
good work. And all in the space of 1 slow lap around the gear circuit. 5 minutes remain on the clock through Lisboa. That was almost wrong, wasn't it?
Tyres suggested it was, the amount of noise that the tyre squeal generated. Gerard Shee there heading up the hill. And we've just had confirmation that the session was shortened by 5 minutes. It's just been put onto the timing screen. The stewards have agreed to its shortening by 5 minutes, and it could be that other sessions go the same way. There is Gerard Shee then, who remains 3rd fastest, and another car is in trouble. Is that at Lisboa? I think it is.
I think it is, yeah.
And that's not going very much further, I don't think.
Or is it Melco?
No, it's Lisboa.
Okay. We're about to see it. Oh, goodness.
Which is Wang Yuming, rides the back of the car ahead, breaks the suspension, ends up at the escape road. And so yellow flag there, but that was a gap that was never really on.
Zhang Chi-ho, the 32 car. And that's Gerard Shee with now 3 minutes and 40 seconds of this second part of qualifying for red flag.
Yeah, and that'll be it, won't it?
That will be it, surely.
Yeah, session will not be resumed.
Yeah.
Confirmation.
Yeah. Do you get the impression that race control are now taking a no-nonsense attitude to this afternoon? Because yes. I do. Yeah.
Yes, I think they've had enough of people doing silly things.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
and will not be resumed.
You want the drivers to be safe, of course, but equally they've got to drive sensibly. And I'm not sure that that was really a move that was on there for Wang Yuming. Down at turn 3, there didn't seem to be much room on the outside, but he kept on coming.
So Q1 was far more meaningful, the times that were set, including a very impressive 2:27.6 for Andy Chang this morning.
You're right about it being more representative, but of course they were able to get into a rhythm, weren't they, and do meaningful lap time. Yeah. And things get warmer, cars get lighter, times come down as well. So they'll head for the pit lane, and that means that we've got 3 more sessions still to come today here at Macau with the SJM Road Sports, the 2 GT Q2 sessions as well. So Andy Chang takes provisional pole position for the qualifying race for the Sands China Formula 4 Macau Grand Prix from Li Xicheng and Gerard Shi. Charles Leung 4th, Royce Yu 5th fastest, and then to round out the top 6, it is Jing Jiefeng 7th for Wei Chu Yin ahead of Lu Jingji, then Li Qingxin, and the top 10 rounded out by Ling Li Feng at the end of Q2 for the Sands China Formula 4 Macau Grand Prix.